Starting off this episode of upcoming mods, we do have another update to the Ruger Mark V, a work in progress equipment mod by Nero. This guy's been producing a ton of extremely high quality stuff lately, and this is just going to be another nice addition to his portfolio. Here what he's more or less doing is showing off some of the different attachments, some of the different color customization options. As you can see, they look really freaking good. I feel like there's always these big scopes on these fairly small pieces of equipment. I never got that, but it definitely looks good, so it has that going for it. And of course, we are going to have different faction paint jobs, as you can see by that Institute one and then some of these other ones. In addition, he kind of talks a little bit about the caliber type that will be going on with this. He mentions it's going to have the .22 LR as it does in real life, but in addition, it's going to have the 38 caliber also. His justification is basically that in the post-apocalypse, the .22 LR isn't going to really get you all that far. One of the interesting things he mentions is right now it's going to be ballistic, so it's just going to kind of be your standard piece of equipment that's firing things. But he does also kind of say, my plans are in motion to change that, which I found very interesting. I think there's a lot of really cool and custom things you could do with some of the different equipment through the customization options in Fallout 4. And having this thing shoot, I don't know, like a dart, I feel like it looks like something that could shoot a dart. In the real world, that logistically probably is impossible, but it's a video game and I think that could be something fun to see. I'm really excited to see where it goes with this. Again, he's been producing a ton of quality content, and just based off the past few days, this is going to be a great addition. This one's pretty interesting. These are going to be some work in progress screenshots of different power armor retextures by Deep Polari. They're the same guy that released all those high quality retextures of other pieces of equipment in Fallout 4, like the Lavish Laser Collection. They always had those interesting names going along with them, and people really seem to like them. I didn't fully understand why they got so many downloads, but again, I guess people just really like retexture mods. Well, power armor retextures, and more importantly, modded power armor retextures is something I can get behind. What you're seeing in the background, of course, is the Institute power armor as well as the Midwestern power armor. The Institute power armor is by M150. The Midwestern power armor was originally by Neuromine 43. Both of these were cool power armors functionally, but they actually didn't have the best textures in the world. I would actually argue the Midwestern power armors was significantly better than the Institute power armor, but either way, both of them notable, high quality pieces of equipment, but they definitely had some lacking aspects. If this mod author really is going to go back and retexture or overhaul and affect a lot of these older power armor mods, I would be in huge support of that. I feel like it would breathe new life into these older mods, and I just think it'd be fun to use them again. Especially the Institute power armor. That one's actually from the concept art if you guys don't know, and I feel like it's a great addition in Fallout 4. It just had some issues with its actual execution, and the way you got it could be improved also. I'm excited to see where it goes with this. I'd love to see it expanded, and hopefully he does that. This is pretty interesting. This is going to be the Homemade SMG. This is by Fallout MG. He basically posts a lot of work in progress or concept art pictures that other people do eventually make mods off of. A lot of his previous content has been turned into larger mods by other people. So again, we do have the Homemade SMG. I love this. It basically looks like it's going to either be using like pipes of some sort or kind of left around parts to actually craft a piece of equipment that you would probably find in the apocalypse. I'm sure people would be doing this. Yep, Fallout 4 and Fallout 4 modding have largely not touched this sector. It was only until very recently that we started seeing some of these attachments for the Service R Redux. Either way, I really like this. I think it looks amazing. Next, you do have that upgraded image, so you could see the basic version, which I was just showing you, but then you could see an upgraded version that maybe if you had some more caps or some more equipment you could get to. I just think it looks really cool. SMGs in general are something we really lack in Fallout 4, but in addition, these homemade pieces of equipment I think just look amazing. They fit to the theme of the game so well, and I hope more mod authors start taking advantage of this style. There's new animations by War Daddy. The video in the background and frankly all the other stuff I'm showing you can be found in a link down below, but especially with videos, obviously these guys collect ad revenue on them, so checking out this video or his channel in general can actually directly support the mod author monetarily, and I always encourage that. Either way, as I did say, what we're seeing right now are new animations for the SMG. This, of course, is the vanilla thing that does appear in Fallout 4. And I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but I really like this. I feel like it's going to breathe new life into that individual piece of equipment. There's a few mods in Fallout 4 that actually retexture and change the sounds for some of these. I love those mods. I feel like it makes those individual pieces way more usable, way more enjoyable because it feels refreshing, it feels new. Animations have that exact same effect, except I almost feel like to an extended degree because how often do you reload? Probably a lot. I'm just kind of reiterating the same point over and over, but it's going to breathe new life into this piece of equipment that you otherwise may be ignoring and actually get you to pick it up and use it again, which is good. More playtime, more things to do while you're playing, and yeah, I mean, why not? So we have some more work in progress images of the Summer Overhaul. These are by Mashup. This is the same guy behind the Winter Overhaul, the Autumn Overhaul, and of course the work in progress Summer Overhaul. This one definitely looks distinctively different than his other ones. I feel like with this summer overhaul, things aren't as overgrown as in the autumn overhaul. Obviously, there's actually a lot of trees in this one, unlike the winter overhaul. There's dense forests that look like they've been grown up, but at the same time, it doesn't look like things are overgrown. I feel like in these images, you could really see that there's a lot of trees, a lot of different things going on, but they all look very tame. If you compare this to something like the regrowth overhaul, that looks like a lot more overgrown. It doesn't look like someone went through and cut down all the excess while this one does. If you're going for that style, you'll probably really enjoy this mod. His past mod, I'm a huge fan of. The winter overhaul I've been using for a while, only just recently switching off of it because I feel like it ran its course. And yeah, I imagine a lot of you guys will be excited for this. So we have a new work in progress mashup by Frozen Memories. What you're going to see is basically a collection of some vanilla assets and potentially some other modded assets that I assume he got permission for. And it's going to be a new mod featuring a ton of new outfits for your character. I'm probably not quite the right YouTuber to cover this because I don't typically cover these types of mods, but I know a lot of you guys do enjoy using them. A huge subset of the Fallout 4 modding community enjoys this type of content, so I always like to feature it, even if I just give the same spiel over it each and every time, just kind of as a slideshow to the images, and you could check this guy out on Nexus to see even more of them. It's not for me, but it's definitely for some of you, so hopefully you're enjoying that. So we have a few updates from Fallout 4 New Vegas. All these are going to be from their Facebook page and other social channels, which I will have linked down below. You can check them out if you're interested, but otherwise, first and foremost, I'm going to show you something I showed you in the past, but that's still a huge progress update from them. That's going to be the Redux version of the Service R. As you can see, there's going to be different variants. It looks amazing, and I'm highly anticipating this. I think I'm very excited for it, and if it kind of establishes a new format for what they're going to be bringing to the table with their different weapon mods, I think that'd be awesome. They also do kind of mention under this image how they've been working a lot more in world space, and you're definitely going to see that in some of the following images. The progress they're making does look really good. Moving on, you can also see a vehicle they were working on. These things I feel like go unappreciated when you actually see them in game. Like, you'll probably just pass by this or maybe shoot at it once or twice, but they take a lot of work and time and effort to actually model texture this, so I feel like it deserves to be appreciated, even though if it's kind of an unsung hero. And also we do have a house, so you actually have all these subsequent parts for that house, the different windows, the roofing aspects as it's torn down, then actually the house put together, and then finally all of it coming together to actually see that house in game. As you can see, I feel like this really illustrates how some of these individual pieces may be very time consuming to create, and they're very highly detailed, but it's all necessary to actually get that final product that you do experience and see in the game. And then we finally have a factory themed building. They basically mention here how they're going to have to make a lot of the assets for this, as some of the assets in Fallout 4 don't really match the same aesthetic that you did see in Fallout New Vegas. So many of the pieces you're seeing in the background are going to be from Fallout 4, but also custom made by this team for this mod and really for this building. All this comes together to look quite amazing in my eyes. Yeah, the different equipment and armor mods do look pretty cool, but the locations I feel like are what's going to make this mod feel truly special, getting to re-immerse yourself in this world as it feels totally fresh. So that's pretty much it for this one. For this fun fact of the day, let's actually talk about desirable difficulties. This is kind of an odd concept. Basically, as you are studying or trying to learn a piece of information, the more difficult it is to originally encode it, like to process that information, actually makes it so you remember it longer. It almost makes sense when you think about it in your head conceptually, but in execution, you probably don't do this, even though you maybe should. Let's say you're studying for a test that's like a week away or 5 days away. If you have a piece of paper with all of the words and definitions, and you just kind of read them off, as I'm sure many people do, your long-term memory for that would actually be way worse if you had a piece of paper with really sloppy handwriting or with some of the words misspelled and you had to spend more time and effort actually thinking about and trying to figure out what each thing says. Even though your initial kind of reading of it is more difficult, it's that more difficult processing that actually makes it so you remember that longer. It's a really interesting and, I guess kind of intuitive concept, but I'm sure for a lot of people it doesn't just click. Like, if you're studying, it probably should be hard for you to get through the information, not just kind of a breeze unless you already knew it. Well, if you want to do well, I guess. But that's pretty much it for this one. As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time.